Are you an adult learning teacher, researcher, organization, or policymaker? Do you want to connect with a vibrant community of adult learning professionals with over 140,000 members from 37 different countries working to make a difference in adult learning? Then EPALE is the right place for you. What can you do on EPALE? There are many ways to contribute, collaborate, and learn on EPALE. You can contribute content like news, blogs, and events in your organization. Content is moderated to make sure the information is factual, tolerant, and free from bias. You can join discussions, collaborative spaces, and communities of practice in your areas of interest. You can access massive open online courses and access open educational resources. EPALE Malta is committed to bringing together all stakeholders in adult learning, both public and private. We support adult learning in Malta by promoting the work uploaded by EPALE members through our own social media channels. Signing up is easy. If you already have an account on any other official EU website, you can use it to log into EPALE. Otherwise, you can easily create a new EU login account. Just choose the Create an account on the top right corner of the EPALE homepage, which will take you to the EU login page. Then fill in your details, check the privacy statement box, and tap on the Create an Account button. And that's it! You'll receive an email to confirm your account, and then you can access EPALE and all its features. Join the EPALE community now.
Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm going to start sharing my presentation now. Please bear with me because we had some technical issues just before we started. Okay, so. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, excellent. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the first episode of our EPALE Malta Webinars for 2023. My name is Natasha Fabri and I represent the EPALE NSS Malta team. Today we're really honored to host EBSN to talk to us about the Professional Development Series for Adult Educators, EBSN PDS. But first of all, a little note about what we do at the EPALE NSS Malta. The Directorate for Research, Lifelong Learning and Employability within the Ministry of Education here in Malta works on the EPALE project. We have a very full year ahead of us this year with plenty of initiatives, especially those you can see on the screen. So the Central Support Service is currently promoting the EPALE thematic focuses for 2023. And here locally, NSS Malta is working very hard on three big initiatives this year. The Contributor Contest for 2023, the webinar series, of course this is our first episode, and the EPALE Awards, which will be held later on this year in October. Okay, besides myself, of course, we have a full set of speakers today. We'll be starting off with Mandy Mifsud, who is our Education Officer for the Lifelong Learning Unit within the Directorate. The Directorate is responsible for policy and provision within the adult education sector here in Malta, and we are also involved in the EU Agenda for Adult Learning. Then, as you can see, we will also have another speaker from Lifelong Learning, who is Tanya Jus. She's the Center Administrator for the MCDA Hub for the Lifelong Learning Center, and she will be speaking to us about her experience with the PDS project so far. And then let's turn to our EBSN PDS partner speakers. Of course, we're going to start with Zoltan, who is the project leader for this project, and Neil, Wiley, John, and Balash as well. And finally, from my end at least, here's the agenda for the session. We'll be starting with an intervention by Mandy Mifsud about the professionalization of basic skills teachers and how EBSN Professional Development Series offers opportunities for professional development. Then we'll move on to the other speakers in turn who will talk to us about their contribution to the project and also their experiences and sorry, I'm having a lot of, okay. Yes, and then we'll conclude the session with a short Q&A section at the end from 3 o'clock to 3:15, and then we'll finish off then. Okay, so this was my little introduction. I will now leave the floor to Mandy.
Thank you, Natasha. And good afternoon to everyone. First of all, a big well done for kickstarting the webinar series. I'm glad it's about preparing for the challenges of teaching basic skills, and that I'll talk for a few minutes because I have a very short slot about the professionalization of the adult educator. So just to give some background and add to what Natasha was saying, within the Directorate, we do provision. So we organize many courses, and most of our courses, it's in the majority, our courses can be categorized as basic skill courses because they are mainly MQF1, so EQF1 level 1 and 2. We also have MQF level 1 courses, and we also go up to level 3, but it's mainly all about basic skills and essential skills. We also have a dedicated category of courses which is specifically literacies. So Maltese, English, personal finance, a variety of courses within that category. Now, our remit, we reach many students. We reach around 8,000 students per year, and we have around 150 adult educators delivering and facilitating these sessions. All of which are part-timers, and that in itself already makes things challenging when it comes to professionalizing the adult educator, because obviously these people are dedicating just a few hours per week to their teaching of adults. Having said that, they do a great job with the time they have, but obviously that already poses with some challenges. When it comes then to basic skills, things become even more complex in the local scenario because there isn't much when it comes to specialization and specializing in the area. When it comes to compulsory education, children, younger students, yes, there's a lot going on, but when it comes to adult teaching and learning and adult CPDs, there's a lack of training, there's a lack of resources, there are quite a number of lacunas. So we have been collaborating with EBSN for a number of years now, and we're very happy, and we want to continue to grow this relationship with EBSN. And the minute we heard about this project, the PDS project, we couldn't say no, because it fills a very important gap of training for the basic skills educator. And Tanya will speak more about this later, but so far we've had a very good response locally from both our educators and also other educators within Malta, because obviously we are here to help and to push the professionalization of adult learning at a national level, not just with our educators. And so far, I must say we're very happy with the uptake of participants who are following MOOCs at this point in time. We've already tested one of the MOOCs last year, and we have another new one coming up. So we feel that this is very important in helping us. This project is very important in helping us to professionalize the adult educator and to offer more opportunities. So without taking much more time, we look forward also towards the sustainability of this project. We truly hope that once this project ends, we will continue to bear and reap the fruits that have resulted of this project. Already we are feeling the results, let alone if it continues, we continue to work together and we have more people joining these 6 very interesting MOOCs and very important MOOCs, which will help our basic skills educators locally. So thank you.
Go ahead, Zoltan. You can take over.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Can you see my slides?
They're loading, yes. You might want to put it on slideshow.
And now?
Yes, excellent.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Natasha, for organizing this event and having the opportunity to share some information about the Professional Development Series, which is basically a vision of EBSN to provide gap-filling online courses which can be accredited also micro-credentials and can be easily accessible for teachers, tutors of basic skills courses, or only those who are working many times with people with low basic skills in different educational settings and have the challenge to integrate them into the learning processes. So this a few words about our community, our network, which we look at as a community of professionals and policymakers who are really passionate about this specific area of adult learning, which includes a many-sided challenge when it comes to design and implementation of the right interventions and courses, and this particular place, this network, we usually share our experiences and research results and projects, and this creates a very interesting environment for us. And it includes all kinds of institutes like ministries, ministerial institutions, but also universities and representatives of national networks of providers. All of them has a joint interest in making basic skills provision highly professional and highly effective. And let me mention that we have an annual community meeting, which is the conference, and this time
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure. I think we have lost Zoltan.
I think his line must have dropped. We'll give him
Yes.
just a few moments.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can continue and then we can.
I know. I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Okay. Okay, so Zoltan should be on the meeting. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go to the next person in the lineup, and perhaps we can go back to Zoltan a little bit later. Neil, can you take over in the meantime?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let me jump in here and yeah, I hope you guys can see my presentation. Oh.
Yes, we can see it.
That's
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's just after 1 second. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the new normal and basic skills provision via a description of one of the MOOCs / micro-credentials called Approaching Digital Teaching and Learning. So basically, we found with the pandemic, there was always a digital divide. What we found that is inequality in digital skills was actually made worse by the pandemic. So of all the benefits we received from the pandemic, but it was more the ones who were digitally literate who benefited from the increased use of technology, because en masse education became digitized, something we thought we'd never see happened literally overnight. So the role of EBSN in that sense was kind of bridging this digital divide. And we found out that during the desk report, the exploratory report for this project, that there was a need for more innovative and online means of delivery. And it was also essential to keep abreast of the latest developments and to equip teachers with the ever-changing digital skills and competencies. And that was a challenge given what happened in the pandemic and how some people who had access to face-to-face education just suddenly didn't have the access. And we think it's important to foster and implement learner-centered delivery models with better digital tools. And from that EBSN and through all of our partners, it was a kind of a call to rise to the challenge in this project. UNESCO said the greatest challenge for teachers is to continue to acquire the necessary digital skills for the benefit of our students. So that's the biggest challenge in education at the moment, according to UNESCO. And we all know that e-learning is here to stay, and blended learning is the most popular method. And scientifically, it's been found to be the most successful method of education across all forms. We see technology is constantly shifting. You have ChatGPT. I actually wrote my brother's best man speech using ChatGPT. I'm going to read it out in a couple of weeks. It's really funny. So this is just so intelligent. Things that we never dreamt of is now an app on our phone. So it's important that we provide a foundation in digital skills and pedagogies in which we can continue to build. And also essentially, you'll see we have the Creative Commons logo here. Making it accessible to those who need it was a key facet. So we wanted to design some tangible learning outcomes in the course Approaching Digital Teaching and Learning, so that the people who take this MOOC or this micro-credential can come away with something and actively use it in their teaching. So essential to demonstrate an understanding of digital pedagogical practice. So if you have the pedagogy, you can apply it across various modes of instruction, assess key digital technologies and identify how to integrate for learning purposes. So in this aspect, I wanted to bring in an area of criticality, not just passive learning, but taking an EdTech tool, going through a template, presenting why you found it was useful or why you didn't find it useful. This can be something as basic as an app on your phone to something like using breakout rooms in Zoom or Teams. Identify strategies to increase learner interaction with technology and implement digital teaching practices. And we did this by harnessing engagement. So interactive content like videos, blogs, and quizzes were essential, and we've made lots of these in the courses. We have activities via downloadable templates that can be used for people to work on their own and then resubmit via the discussion forum. Critiques on EdTech tools in discussion fora, introduction to readily usable apps and tools, and also, importantly, and Tanya will tell you about this in a while, facilitator-led contact via the webinars. So a quick note on the design of all the courses. So we all used Carpe Diem for the 6 MOOCs of micro-credentials, which was a kind of collaborative online development process. And my role was kind of to lead out this process across all 6 MOOCs, working with the subject matter experts who are here today with us. And my background isn't in adult learning, it's kind of education technology and kind of lecturing. So I was very much new to the game of adult learning, but I learned so much about it just from working with these experts. So it's a credit to these people who were able to provide us with information. Some of them are in the room here today. Important that we constructively align the courses. So making sure that what we're telling the learners that we're going to do, that we actually do. We do that via assessments, via quizzes, and also via interaction with them during the course. And then we storyboard it each week to see what it would look like to have a range of these activities, all going back into Bloom's taxonomy. So on the surface, it's an online course, but if you look under the hood, there's a lot of instructional design there also. And this is just a quick snapshot of what one of the MOOCs looks like, the Approaching Digital Teaching and Learning. So on the left and the right, we have various activities which we've brought in. Some of these activities have been tried at some of the best universities in Europe, and then we had to kind of bring them down to not to bring them down to a level, but to make them more suitable towards our target audience, which that in itself was a challenge. And we wanted people to be able to interact with these courses, and doing the pilot stage really helped us with that. So they were all refined and they're being released, some of which have already been released, and the next ones are being released in the coming weeks. So very quickly, just to sum up the findings from my personal perspective, we need support in developing digital teaching practice. This is always going to be essential. This is something that is not going to go away. It's only going to get more and more in demand. We need a space for learners to access and critique EdTech in a supportive environment. There's so much out there at the moment that you just don't know where to start sometimes. So we have to provide this space where they can go in and do this and get a bit of support. Instruction in digital pedagogies as a key takeaway is essential, but also so is learning how to learn online. So how do you teach a person how to learn online? And this is a process which needs consideration, and also sustainability should be built in by design. And we hope to be able to prove that in this project. So that's it, guys. I hope I didn't go over, and thanks very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Neil. No, you're fine. You're fine. We seem to have Zoltan back. Zoltan, would you like to continue your slides?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. But I think it's better to go through the other two presentations, and I will make a summary of it.
Sure. Okay. Absolutely. Good. Okay. So next we have John.
So now you see my presentation. Yep. So I'll talk a little bit about the challenges of entering the digital world by basic skills. So actually the MOOC that we have been creating. So I'm a part of the team that's been developing this MOOC. And first of all, I'll just talk a little bit about the challenges and needs that we identified and influenced the development of this course and the content of the course. So one of the things we discovered was or talked about was the digital skills teachers need to be ongoing on the self-development. So you have to know about how the technology is going along, how fast it is, and you have to be have to know about the movement of the digital world. So that's a part of the challenge of being a teacher in digital skills, because it's so much, and like Neil said, you actually don't know where to start. So this might help to organize and show a bit of the world and the importance of different teams. And then we found out that the importance of developing a curriculum that is relevant for and engaging for the learners, and especially adult learners, because the background can be very different, experiences and the skill level. And many times when you have a course, you might have all the spectrum in one and the same course. And that is quite a different, or it's hard to adjust to the big difference in one and the same course. Yeah, and the next. And the last part is how to engage and recognize the achievements of the learners. how can we actually how we can adjust the learning so they will get good feedback of what they're learning, yeah. So I'll just continue here. So the content of the MOOC is firstly introduction to digital skills. So basically how broad the team is. And part 2 is digital competencies for civic and social life. So we have taken this part as one section just to show how important it is for civic and social life nowadays, because it might be a big difference from Norway to another country. And yeah, and the next part is the digital competences in the workspace or work. So the need for digital competences is just increasing in almost every type of job nowadays. And the last part, teaching digital skills, is more tools and how we actually can set up courses and course plans to have an engaging class. And we have some examples and discussions about this. So if you take this course, you afterwards you will have a good understanding of the importance of digital skills in work life and social life also. Should be a tool to motivate and create a secure environment for your students. So a few tools there, and become competent in choosing the content, activities and working methods based on the different skills of your students. Yeah, so that's what I got. Thank you.
Balázs? Thank you very much. So if I may, I'd like to share my slides. And I do hope that it will work. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Now, regarding the facilitation issue, what I would like to very shortly emphasize here, that for academic backgrounds, having been involved in adult education research for at least 2 decades, I think it has always been a very important matter regarding quality concerns, but more precisely to highlight the humanistic element of teaching and learning with adults, like when we try to recall the very good book of Peter Mayo. I think this is somehow very much important to recognize the importance of how to prepare and how to develop as a teacher, as a trainer or facilitator. And just recently, we have had at least 2 very significant input from the policy context that highlighted this matter. One, if I may just indicate here some reasons, when we had the 2022 European Conference on Adult Education, and to emphasize quality and professional development in adult learning education, there was a very strong commitment by European partners not only for Malta, but several other countries, to emphasize the development and strengthening professionalization of adult educators, and likewise to develop recognition of adult educators in just the broader field of education and training. As I think this is something very much important, which resulted in the new European agenda. And if we have a good look as a reminder, quality, equity, inclusion has a very significant element here related to the development of skills, but also all the others like Area 3 on teachers, professionalization and digitalization that has been just underlined by Neil. Now, this project is also very much important as a development under the umbrella of EBSN coordinated networking and partnership of distinguished institutions and organizations in adult learning education across Europe. The wider context, the United Nations orientation related to quality education and to emphasize lifelong learning. And we just can highlight there's nothing without skills development around. And today we can see that not only United Nations, but through that, UNESCO and right now several other bodies like the OECD and ILO have commonly recognized the importance of developing basic skills. Back to UNESCO, the Confidential orientation, the latest Marrakesh framework, has clearly signaled the recognition of literacy and that of digital learning environments amongst several others. So for this very reason, to make it a little bit quick, I think the matter around developing skills of teachers, facilitators, as all in all professionals in the development of basic skills for adult learners, there's no wonder that the composition of these 6 MOOCs have tried to make it integrative and highlight some very much relevant and hot issues to be reflected upon. Now, the MOOC that we have developed in association with SETU and other colleagues in the project is around facilitation of adult learning, how to facilitate in a good way, and not just reflecting on the structure, because you can read it out, how it has been developed in a kind of a template work from the Irish colleagues. And thanks to Neil for this extensive support. What we can see here is that you can just find significant aspects that this MOOC is trying to help in the assistance for users in facilitation and to enhance teaching practices when working with adults. But also it supports users to develop abilities to evaluate the learning process and to explore the learner progresses and how the learner monitoring takes place for adults of basic skills. So I think this is something very much important, how to develop further on. And those people who come to this specific MOOC-based course will be able to demonstrate an understanding of facilitation in general, but also to put it into some context through some quizzes and blogs. And I think this is something very much very interesting, how to animate people for digital tools like telephones, for example. They can also be better in assessing on the use of basic methods in facilitation, identify and apply strategies of facilitating adult learning for better performance, and finally to implement facilitation in an advanced way. We have developed 4 areas, and just you can see here the units. But when developing these specific themes under the umbrella of facilitating adult learning, we also try to bear in mind the structure, the overarching structure on how to develop into 4 weeks with units and its sub-elements, the discussion forum, videos and all other things just Neil mentioned so far. And to emphasize what is very much interesting here is micro-credential blueprint orientations that people, when having completed the course, could collect not only knowledge but recognition in an advanced way. And that's, for universities, I think, a very important learning procedure, how to develop and reach up to micro-credentials that for adult learners in general and practitioners in here, like basic skills, teachers, facilitators. It's a must today. Now, just very shortly, first unit to discuss understanding of facilitation, provides better understanding on the concept, on the role of the facilitator, on understanding of who the facilitator is and how they engage the learners, and finally to apply these concepts in some concrete environmental focuses. Second, strategies to develop skills especially needed in planning and developing comprehensive facilitation, reach up to design and achieve purposeful learning by collecting and sharing good knowledge. And as a second part, to promote a good sense of discovering and guiding adult learners with better care. So I think this is something very much important to build on the good past and experience of humanistic oriented adult learning. Not, for example, to forget about Paulo Freire and his sense and sensitivity that adult learners need a good dialogical setting where we can share and to make a mutually driven procedure. Unit 3 to discuss about approaches of effective facilitation. This unit helps understanding and applying useful techniques in real life projects, enabling learning about principles of learner empowerment as a key facet, and tools support learners' motivations and participation. So I think this is something very much important in the context of roles and responsibility of adult educators, how to prepare, how to generate commitment and understanding. So this is something very much important. And finally, please forgive us in higher education that we try to bridge in between different areas where facilitation has been recognized as a quality tool amongst many others, just to make in this unit participants be aware of international policy orientations, how to embed the topic of facilitation to quality, sustainability, accessibility and inclusion, and to relate to some text, because it is very much important how to understand bridging in between facilitation and raising participation performance, where we may have to convince our decision makers, heads of institutions, and together with international partnership, we can just step through. And it is here where participants can collect some good knowledge on trends and issues. But we have also used a Spark. So I think this is very much important that the 4 units to go from adult educators' many roles, another Spark on aspects of learners' difference, useful techniques, and finally to embed facilitation into a broader challenge of quality. This we try to make it not only quality, but also relate to some concrete life context in which educators have to cope with challenges, difficulties, choices and limitations. So thank you very much for your attention for now, indeed.
Hello, can you see my presentation?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry for being lost previous time, and I tried to make a summary of our project instead of an introduction. And I hope the audience didn't lose the line after missing this introductory overview. But in this project, we are developing 6 MOOCs, and all the 6 MOOCs has the same characteristics. They all live up to approximately 25 hours, and implement it with facilitation, online facilitation, which includes 3 live webinars at the beginning, in the middle, and close to the end. And it also holds the possibility of interaction in between the MOOC participants, not only during the webinars, but there are online forum discussions, thematic questionnaires, and creating some individual portfolio by the end of the project, which can be shared among the participants. So all these features characterize the EBSN MOOCs together, and this altogether takes 8 weeks as the present way of implementation. We have been piloted some of the MOOCs last year and used the experience to update the courses and extend the course portfolio as it is on the screen. And you can see there are 3 courses already running: Basic Literacy, Empowering Adult Learners of Basic Skills, Diversity and Interculturalism. So these are courses which have been implementing one or another partner in the consortium. And there are 3 new courses which are open for registration, and you can see the link to our project website where you can sign up and register. But there are some limitations, because approaching digital teaching and learning, which was introduced a few minutes ago, this course is only available in Malta and those who are living in Malta. Digital Basic Skills program for adults at the moment is only available in Norway, and it is run in Norwegian language. And facilitating the learning process is available in each European country. Anyone who would like to sign up from anywhere in Europe can do this, who is interested and has a teacher position or working in the field of basic skills provision. So these are the courses at the moment, still piloting. And when we finish the second round of the courses where the registration is still open, it will be finished end of May, early days of June. We will make some evaluation again and finalize the courses. And then it comes to an interesting phase, because we would like to accredit these courses as micro-credentials. And these accreditations should provide an access to other learning courses provided by universities or national programs for further education of adult learners. And these courses can be recognized in those larger or longer programs. So it means that adult learners has the possibility to collect the micro-credentials from EBSN courses, and at a certain point when they enter into another education program, these micro-credentials can be accredited. Our intention was that one MOOC should be accredited as one ECTS point. So this is of course a longer process, and we are already working on exploring partnerships and cooperations with European universities, national and regional authorities who are running larger scale basic skills programs and needs to ensure quality by setting up certain conditions for teachers to take part in such programs, or require further education in a CPD framework, and this framework can incorporate EBSN micro-credentials as well. So this opportunity, this possibility links to a further vision of the sustainability of EBSN MOOCs. We will close down the project at the end of the year, and we would like to have the 6 courses finalized by the end of the day and make it available for different partners. And we would like to run them continuously, permanently after that. And for this, we would like to create these partnerships I mentioned earlier. But we also would like to continue the development of new courses according to the emerging needs. We learned it from COVID that the area of basic skills courses, basic skills provision was heavily affected, and the teachers needed in lots of countries urgent upgrading in using digital skills and digital technology in the learning processes. But also the learners had to be supported in a different way to get access to courses, maybe blended or digital online courses. So these fastly emerging needs, or Neil mentioned the emergence of artificial intelligence in adult education. These kind of things could raise the need for developing new courses, which could be forerunning courses in certain area, and can be used by countries, larger organizations, as a resource, because they should be available as open educational resources. And this is another perspective of using these PDS courses, that they can be revised and adapted to certain context. We are already in cooperation with some countries. I should mention Cyprus. We just started the development phase, where they would like to adapt these courses into their national system for further education of adult educators. And they would like to adapt the content and contextualize in a way that they would like to add some local information and knowledge components to the courses, and also translate it to the language which could be more easily accessible for the adult educators in their country. So this is also a possibility for further cooperation and adaptation, both to different settings, specific settings, like, for example, working in prisons or working in specific environments, or into a national context. And finally, let me refer to our team. This is a great team. We have been working together already for 2 years. There are 2 Irish partners in the consortium, the Southeast University of Technology from Waterford, and NALA, the National Adult Literacy Agency from Dublin. And then we have 3 partners who are contributing to the co-design of the courses, but at the same time also testing, piloting these courses, and you already learned about this initiative in Malta, where the courses are running, and there is a great number of learners, adult educators who are already taking part, and we will learn a little bit about the experiences from Tanya a minute later. And we have Folke University from Norway and the University of Pécs from Hungary. And that's for all right now, and please share your questions, and please visit our website to learn more and the possibilities to sign up to the courses. Tanya.
Okay, so it's my turn to share. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So this is just a personal experience about me being a facilitator. Just a minute, because I'm trying to set everything up. Okay, so I have taken part in, or I'm going to take part in actually 3 pilot projects. The first one was diversity and interculturalism, which was held in June last year. That was running for 4 weeks, and we found that with the amount of content, which was really, really interesting, we needed more time in order to have learners read at their own pace, etc. So this was increased to 8 weeks. At the moment, I am facilitating the basic literacy skills for basic skills teachers, and that has been running from the 22nd of February up to the very beginning of April. And in the near future, from March till May, I will be facilitating the approaching digital teaching and learning. And obviously, as our colleagues have already said, registrations are open till the 19th of March for Maltese participants. My role, what I really like about these MOOCs, well, first of all, it's really motivating. So I will be actually proving that what is being aimed at is actually being achieved. As a teacher, as a facilitator, I am meeting the challenges in keeping up to date with my professional development. There is a very big need because we haven't had a lot of professional development and engaging content in the past years, especially with regards to basic skills. It's also of interest to me because it's very much in line with what I do every day, with what I meet every day, with what I have to help with every day, with what I have to support every day. Okay, the MOOCs are all engaging and they're also interactive. And obviously to help support, there are also webinars which help the group meet face-to-face, even though it's online. You make friends, and obviously you expand your social and professional network. And the learning opportunity as well. I really like that there's also validation and recognition at the end. So you also striving to get an award, which is recognized, and that pays for your hard work as well, because we are all meeting time constraints from the very beginning up to the very end, because you think you're going to have so much time to do something, and then you find that there's not enough time to do all of it. The MOOC platform is very, very friendly. It's easy to use. You get step-by-step instructions along the way, all the way. So a big thank you to all our technical and digital friends who are, keeping and catching up and helping out with all the problems and challenges that we are facing at the moment, because obviously they're being tried out. The structure is very welcoming. It's also user-friendly. The setup of the rollout units and the time frame help with keeping you engaged and helping and encouraging you to finish certain things along the way. The fact that it is self-paced also helps you to do it at any time of the day when you are available. If this week you are unavailable for a certain amount of time, then you have some more time, to catch up in the following week. I think 8 weeks is proving to be the ideal time frame for these MOOCs. And definitely you get support along the way as well, both as a facilitator and as a learner. The learner gets to communicate with his facilitator on a one-to-one basis through various communication mediums. And I must say that I find all the support, all the technical support, all the support I need as a facilitator. So that helps with engagement and motivation too. Finally, my experience as a mentor, as a colleague, and even as a learner is helping me in my personal and professional development. Because we are learning all the time, right? We're in lifelong learning adults. It's helping me step back a bit, reflect on what I am learning as a mentor, as a facilitator, and as a learner. And also, questioning what you do and how you do it, and sometimes moving towards change, because you find that it might be outdated, it might not be actually pertaining to the changes that we are facing every day, especially with regards to digital skills. You may want to do so much, but then you find you don't have the literacy skills to do it. The audience is fantastic. You get to meet people coming from different education institutions. They might be experts in their field, and they're sharing their experience, they're sharing their research, they're sharing their resources. So that's really, really fantastic. And it's online, so you can join from anywhere in the world. It raises your awareness, and it brings about expansion of horizons. It helps you to empathize with what people might be going through, and you actually get what people, are coming from. So it helps you also to realize and to find and to understand more insights, because different people present different situations, different contexts. And so that helps with the overall learning of the personal and professional development. One particular concern which is coming out from our adult educators is actually that the spirit is willing. We know that we need this professional development, and we know that the way forward is helping these teachers develop content, develop resources, develop handouts. One thing which is of concern is that we might not have enough human resources and enough pooling of resources, to cater for such a diverse audience. So I'm hoping that with this development, we move forward in that all these countries, and I'm asserting people and telling them, yes, listen, yes, we will get there, because with all the help of all the countries that we have on EPALE and all the people which are giving this input, designers, and tech teams, etc., we will be able to have a place, EPALE, where we can pull all the resources we need, which are easy to read, which are adaptable, which are flexible, which can be developed for a national context. And so we will be able to arrive to a place where we can help each and every adult learner cope with the illiteracy that we are facing in this digital era. Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Tanya. Zoltan, shall we start the Q&A?
Yes.
Okay. We actually did have a question from Tanya, so maybe Tanya herself can ask you the question.
Yes,
or you
actually.
Or anyone you like, really. Just maybe specify who you would like to answer.
Okay, so my question was, when there was the PowerPoint presentations about developing and facilitating adult learning, are we speaking about a one-to-one process? That means one learner gets assigned one facilitator. Are we meaning that we are going to be helping a small group of learners and being facilitated by one particular educator, or both? Because we're going to need human resources for both, way forward.
I think the question comes to me, if I understand correctly. Thank you, Tanya. I think it is both, but we have to bear it in mind that although in adult learning there's a very significant goal to help the learner to become a self-directed learner, but otherwise, I think this is very much connected with learning in community, learning in teams. And today it is also very much important that we emphasize the development of skills of facilitators to be enabling adults to learn in teams. And these group work activities are also very much needed. So we try to emphasize both in these developments and not just separate the two, but to look into the relationships and the impact of one on the other. So I think this is a very important issue, well structured into the MOOC. But I think, when we will taste it, when we will implement this, there will be also some fine-tuning necessary based on the reflections of our users, on our professional colleagues, how they will see the impact of the course itself. But thank you very much. I think that's a very much necessary element to highlight. Thank you, Tanya.
Okay, thank you. So I have been asking on the chat for our attendees to maybe field any questions in the chat. We'll just give everyone some time.
While you are thinking, in the meantime, yes, if I may, Natasha, just to emphasize that these dialogues are continuing. First of all, I would like to thank very much EPALE Malta and also EPALE Hungary to put it on the list of activities as something to be discussed, but also just being the part of EAEA board. The European Association has also recognized that this topic of developing in the professionalization of basic skills teachers is something that we will have to continue at the EAEA annual conference in Zagreb for June, and we will dedicate a special session to this in association with EBSN. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, so we were getting some feedback as well, but no questions so far. So we would absolutely love to hear from you, everyone attending. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So if there are no questions, would anyone like to make some final comments from the EBSN side, perhaps? Zoltan? Ah, yes, we do have a question here, but I'll let you. So we have a question about, will the PowerPoint presentations be available? I think we can make that happen if Zoltan can confirm. Yes, we can absolutely.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Good.
And in the PowerPoint presentation, you will find the link to the project website where all the courses are presented, and you can even check which courses are open, and you can sign up until I think 27th of March, and you may revisit the site later on, because we will share some of the content of the courses in the form of open educational resources, and you can also download these content elements later on.
Fantastic. Good. I have just put something quite important in the chat for everyone, especially for the attendees. Please go to the link that I provided just a minute ago, where you will find a form, a feedback form to fill in. And in the introduction of that form, you will find a lot of links, including, of course, the EBSN PDS project website link. So you will have access to that as well. And yes, we will be sharing the presentation documents as well, yes, for anyone who is interested. In the coming days, actually next week, of course, because today is Friday, we will be doing a follow-up post on EPALE as well. So we will include, if everyone agrees, some material that was shared during the session, and of course we can provide a link to maybe where all the presentations can be found as a folder. So yes, we will be posting on EPALE, so you can also follow us there. Good. Unless there's any further questions or comments by the speakers. No? Okay, that's fine. Good. So it looks like we're going to wrap up the first EPALE NSS Malta webinar for this year. I was really happy on a personal level to have EBSN PDS on for the first webinar, because I was actually involved in like a very little way at the very beginning when I first joined the team, when we were planning the content of one of the courses, of one of the MOOCs. So this is also a personal thank you to Zoltan and all of the group, because it was really lovely to be part of that group for a while. So I'd like to thank all of the speakers for today. Mandy, Mifsud, and Tanya Juice, of course, from Lifelong Learning, and all of our EBSN partner speakers. So that is, of course, Zoltan, Neil, John, and Balash. It is always lovely to meet you in various capacities during the year. Thank you to all our attendees. Thank you for joining us. We will be back very soon for the second webinar, which will be on the 24th. So please do follow us for news, because we will be posting more information about the next webinar soon. And thank you for joining us. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you very much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.